In the cold logic of a criminal investigation, every person has a price, and the province of Nova Scotia just bet $150,000 that someone close to Gaylord Road is ready to settle theirs. On June 19th, the Department of Justice made a move that sent shockwaves through Pictou County. They officially added the disappearance of Lil and Jack Sullivan to the rewards for major unsolved crimes program. This isn't just a missing persons reward, it is a bounty typically reserved for cold case homicides and high-level fugitives. By putting a $150,000 price tag on the truth, the government has sent a loud, clear message. They are no longer looking for two children who simply wandered into the woods. They are looking for a whistleblower. They are looking for the betrayal. Before we break down why the RCMP is targeting the inner circle and what this money means for the upcoming March 2nd hearing, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are tracking the unsealed documents and the forensic gaps that the mainstream media is afraid to touch. Share this video. Let's make sure the $150,000 question reaches every corner of Nova Scotia. Comment below if you knew a secret that could find these children. Would you take the money, or would loyalty keep you silent? Tell us your thoughts and let us know where you are watching from as we expose the true cost of the Gaylord Road silence. The $150,000 bounty is a massive legal lever that suggests the investigation has hit a wall of human silence. You don't offer life-changing money if you expect to find the answers in the dirt or through a satellite image. You offer it when you know the truth is locked inside a person's head. The unsealed records show that while the public was searching the brush, the RCMP was already dealing with conflicting stories, unsuitable polygraph results, and the January 26th arrest of Daniel Martel. This money is designed to break the Gaylord Pact. It is a calculated invitation for a friend, a neighbor, or a distant relative to step forward and trade their loyalty for a new life. The government isn't just buying information, they are buying the one testimony that will finally turn this disappearance into a conviction. The unsealed 2026 documents reveal that the $150,000 reward isn't just a broad appeal for help, it is a surgical strike aimed directly at the inner circle. For nearly a year, the Gaylord Road property has been guarded by a wall of silence, but investigators know that a secret shared by more than one person is a secret that can be bought. The RCMP has already conducted 54 formal interviews, many of them involving polygraphs with the immediate family and neighbors. By setting the bounty at this specific amount, they are targeting the people who have already been questioned. They are looking for the person who sat in that interview chair, held back a crucial detail, and is now lying awake at night wondering if their loyalty to the family is worth more than a life-changing fortune. This reward signals a shift from searching the woods to analyzing the witnesses. The unsealed files show that the RCMP has thousands of hours of video and hundreds of tips, but they are lacking the insider's signal. The bounty is designed to entice those who were on the property in those critical hours between 8:00 a.m. and 10:00 a.m. on May 2nd. If an acquaintance or a relative saw a vehicle move, heard a conversation that didn't match the wandered-off story, or knows what was truly on those deleted text plus logs, the government has provided them with a golden parachute. It is a tactical move to create paranoia within the inner circle. When $150,000 is on the table, every friend becomes a potential informant, and every silent ally becomes a risk. As we look toward the March 2nd hearing for Daniel Martel, the inner circle target is more relevant than ever. The RCMP is currently leveraging technology-based investigative techniques to cross-reference the tips they've received through the reward program with the forensic data from seized phones. They aren't just waiting for a phone call, they are waiting for a betrayal. In the world of major crimes, the first person to talk is often the one who gets the deal. The province hasn't just put a price on the children, they've put a price on the silence of Gaylord Road. The question isn't whether someone will talk, it's who will get to the 1-888-710-9090 number first. In the legal fine print of the Nova Scotia Department of Justice, there is a phrase that should make every person involved in the Gaylord Road case very, very nervous. The $150,000 reward isn't just a flat fee for a closed case. The official policy states that the final amount is based on the investigative value of the information provided. This is a massive legal loophole that changes the game entirely. It means the police don't necessarily have to wait for a jury's guilty verdict to start writing checks. If someone comes forward with a lead that breaks the wall of silence, even if it just leads to the discovery of a new piece of physical evidence or corroborates a hidden timeline, the Minister of Justice has the power to pay out. This investigative value clause is a psychological weapon. It tells potential tipsters that they don't need to have the whole puzzle solved. They just need to provide the piece that matters. For the RCMP, this is a way to bypass the arrest and conviction hurdle, which can take years in the Canadian court system. They are essentially telling the inner circle, If you have a text, a photo, or a memory that proves the children weren't in those woods on May 2nd, you don't have to wait for a trial to be rewarded for your honesty. This creates an immediate, high-stakes incentive for anyone who might be sitting on half-truths. In a case where the physical evidence in the woods has been described as a forensic vacuum, the police are willing to pay for the value of a single breakthrough. As we look toward the March 2nd hearing, this distinction between value and conviction is critical. The RCMP has already processed 1,066 tips, but most of those were external noise. By emphasizing investigative value, they are signaling to those closest to Daniel Martel that the door is open. The unsealed documents show that the Major Crime Unit is currently leveraging technology to verify every claim made through the reward line. They aren't just looking for a hero, they are looking for an asset. The government is betting $150,000 that in the face of such a massive sum, the investigative value of the truth will finally outweigh the cost of keeping a secret. While the world was focused on the woods of Pictou County, the RCMP's cyberforensics team was quietly fighting a battle inside a digital labyrinth. The unsealed documents from January 2026 reveal a critical focus on Text Plus Logs, an app often used to send untraceable messages over Wi-Fi. We now know that investigators have been granted multiple judicial authorizations to seize and examine devices, specifically looking for messages sent and received in the 24 hours surrounding the disappearance. But there's a problem. The documents hint at deleted materials. This is where the $150,000 reward becomes a digital masterstroke. The police aren't just looking for someone who saw something. They are looking for the digital key, someone who knows exactly what was in those deleted messages. The Text Plus connection is a game changer. If the RCMP is struggling to reconstruct shredded data or bypassed encryption, the reward offers an alternative, human memory. They are looking for the recipient of those texts. Was there a message sent on the evening of May 1st that contradicts the official story? Did someone in the inner circle receive a Text Plus alert that they were told to ignore? The government is betting that $150,000 is enough to make a former friend or a nervous acquaintance hand over their own phone to fill the gaps in the digital timeline. The unsealed records state that hundreds of hours of video have been collected, but video only shows where people were. Text messages show what they were thinking. As we approach the March 2nd court date for Daniel Martel's unrelated charges of forcible confinement and assault, the pressure on these digital secrets is peaking. The RCMP has confirmed they are applying every resource, but the $150,000 reward is the most powerful resource of all. It's an open bounty on the Text Plus truth. In the age of deleted history and encrypted apps, the government has realized that the most effective way to recover a deleted message is to pay the person who read it. The question for the inner circle is no longer just, what do you know? Is your silence worth more than $150,000? The unsealed court documents from January 2026 have exposed a glaring forensic failure that the $150,000 reward is now designed to bypass. While the media focused on Daniel Martel and Malhir Brooksmurray passing their polygraph tests, the files reveal a much more complicated reality, the suitability problem. On June 10th, investigators attempted to administer a polygraph to the children's step-grandmother, Janie Mackenzie. But the test never even started. The documents explicitly state that her physiology was not suitable for analysis, meaning the machine couldn't even get a baseline reading. No opinion on her truthfulness could be rendered. When the sympathetic nervous system of a key witness is too erratic for a machine to measure, it leaves a black hole in the investigation. This is why the $150,000 reward is so tactical. The RCMP doesn't want to rely on machines anymore. They want a human confession. They know that while physiology can fail a polygraph, it cannot hide a secret forever. The unsealed files describe a house filled with tension, including allegations from Malhir that Martel would block her, hold her down, and take her phone when she tried to call for help. If the people in that house were living in a state of high stress and physical control, their physical bodies would naturally be unsuitable for a lie detector test. The government isn't just offering money for a tip. They are offering a way out for anyone whose body has been physically reacting to the weight of what they know. The suitability problem tells us that the machine failed where the human element must now succeed. As we look toward the March 2nd hearing in Pictou, the RCMP is shifting its focus away from the sensors and wires of the polygraph. They are using the life-changing sum of $150,000 to reach the person who was too nervous, too scared, or too physiologically overwhelmed to talk in June. The unsealed records hint that the Major Crime Unit is leveraging technology to fill the gaps, but they are betting that the lure of a new life is the only thing that will finally overcome the unsuitable silence of Gaylord Road. The RCMP has officially hit what investigators call the 1,111 tips wall. As of February 2026, the Major Crime Unit has confirmed they have received and assessed exactly 1,111 separate tips from the public. That is a staggering amount of data, a mountain of clues, sightings, and theories. Yet, despite this, the government is still waving a $150,000 check in the air. This tells us everything we need to know about the quality of those tips. For the police, the first 1,111 pieces of information were external noise, speculation from online sleuths, sightings of blue rubber boots that led nowhere, and theories about the woods that the search teams had already debunked. The wall exists because out of over 1,000 leads, not one has provided the specific, fact-based information required to find Lil and Jack. This is why the $150,000 reward is a tactical pivot. The RCMP isn't looking for tip 1,112 from a well-meaning stranger. They are looking for tip number 1 from an insider. The unsealed documents show that while the public was busy calling in sightings, the police were busy conducting 1,400 separate investigative tasks, including checking bank records and GPS data. They have the breadth of the case covered, but they are missing the depth. The reward is designed to smash through the wall of noise by making the price of a true tip so high that it outweighs the fear or loyalty of anyone currently keeping a secret. In a case where a search of 40 kilometers with cadaver dogs turned up nothing, the police know the answer isn't in the woods, it's in the testimony that hasn't been given yet. As we move toward the March 2nd hearing, the 1,111 tips wall stands as a testament to a stalled investigation. The RCMP staff sergeant has stated they are pursuing every lead, but the existence of the bounty proves they are still waiting for the right lead. They have the technology, they have the video, and they have the 1,111 tips, but they don't have the truth. The $150,000 is the government's admission that the current narrative is at a dead end. They are no longer asking the public to look for the children. They are asking the inner circle to look at the money and decide if it's time to finally tear down the wall. The unsealed court documents from January 2026 have introduced a cold, financial reality to this investigation that the public is only now beginning to understand. According to the records, on May 2nd and May 4th, the very days the search was at its peak, Daniel Martel himself told police that he and Malhir Brooks Murray had recently been fighting about money. While he provided no further details, this admission of economic tension creates a haunting backdrop for the $150,000 reward. In a household where financial stress was allegedly a primary source of conflict, the government has introduced a sum of money that is larger than the value of many homes in Pictou County. This isn't just a reward. It is a targeted weapon designed to exploit the very fractures that already existed within the Garelock Road property. Think about the psychological pressure this creates. The RCMP knows that when a group of people is under extreme financial strain, the bond of silence becomes fragile. By offering life-changing wealth, the province is essentially putting a price tag on the loyalty of every person who walked through that door. If the unsealed allegations of abuse and forcible confinement are true, then the environment was already one of control and desperation. The $150,000 is an exit strategy. It is the government's way of saying to anyone in the inner circle who is struggling to pay bills or looking for a way out, the truth is your ticket to a new life. As we look toward the March 2nd hearing, the economic pressure angle is a key piece of the Crown's strategy. They aren't just looking for a witness, they are looking for someone who realizes that $150,000 can buy more security than a secret ever will. The unsealed files show that the Major Crime Unit has been meticulous in tracking bank records and investigative tasks related to the family's finances. They understand that in a case with no footprints and no scent, the only thing that might move is the person who decides that $150,000 is worth more than a Garelock pact. The reward has turned the family's private financial struggle into a public invitation for betrayal. In the delicate web of a family crisis, the police usually work through a single point of contact, a spokesperson who filters every update. But the $150,000 reward has effectively dismantled the designated relative filter. By opening a direct, toll-free line at the Nova Scotia Department of Justice, has created a private backdoor that bypasses the family's unified front. They aren't just waiting for the official family representative to call with an update. They are inviting the siblings, the cousins, and the in-laws to speak to the Major Crime Unit in total secrecy. This is a tactical move to break the centralized narrative that has dominated Garelock Road since May 2nd. The unsealed 2026 documents show that the RCMP is acutely aware of how information is controlled within the Sullivan-Martel circle. For months, the designated relative was the bridge, but the reward turns that bridge into a bypass. The police know that in a house where Daniel Martel allegedly exercised forcible confinement over an adult, communication was likely a monitored and controlled resource. The reward offers an alternative, a way to talk without the designated relative ever knowing. It creates a direct line to freedom for anyone who felt they couldn't speak because of family pressure or the fear of a dominant household figure. As the March 2nd hearing for Daniel Martel approaches, this filter bypass is putting the entire inner circle on edge. The RCMP has confirmed that while calls to the reward line are recorded and require a name, they provide a level of protection that a local search party simply can't offer. They are leveraging this private channel to find the hidden witness, the person who has been told what to say by the family leadership but wants to tell the truth to the authorities. The $150,000 is the incentive, but the direct line is the mechanism. The government has signaled that the time for family spokespeople is over. It's time for individual voices to be heard. In the legal world, there is no such thing as a coincidence, only timing. The $150,000 reward and the unsealed allegations have all converged on a single high-stakes date, March 2nd. This isn't just another court appearance in Pictou. It is the March 2nd deadline for the truth. For months, the investigation into Lil and Jack was a quiet war of digital forensics and forest searches. But by arresting Daniel Martel on January 26th for sexual assault, and the forcible confinement of an adult, the RCMP has officially changed the temperature of the case. They aren't just waiting for tips anymore. They are using the threat of a trial and the lure of a massive payout to force a star witness out of the shadows before the gavel even falls. The strategy is clear. The Crown wants to walk into that March 2nd hearing with more than just allegations of a physical relationship. They want a breakthrough. The unsealed documents reveal that the RCMP has been pursuing every lead to connect the atmosphere of control inside the Gairloch Road, home to the disappearance of the children. By dangling $150,000 in front of the community right as Martel faces these serious criminal charges, the government is creating a deadline for loyalty. They know that once a trial begins and witnesses are sworn in, the price of information changes. They are offering the inner circle one last chance to be a paid informant rather than a subpoenaed witness. As we count down the days to March 2nd, the pressure on the Gairloch Road Circle is reaching a breaking point. The RCMP has confirmed they are actively engaged in more than 1,400 investigative tasks, and they are looking for the one person whose testimony can bridge the gap between the forcible confinement of an adult and the whereabouts of two missing children. The reward isn't just a gesture of hope, it's a tactical countdown. The government is betting $150,000 that someone will realize their silence is a sinking ship, and they'll decide to jump for the payout before the courtroom doors lock on March 2nd. This brings us to the final question, the one that $150,000 cannot answer, but only a human soul can. As we stand on the doorstep of the March 2nd hearing, the investigation into Lil and Jack Sullivan has moved beyond maps and search grids. It has become a trial of conscience. The province of Nova Scotia has laid the money on the table. The RCMP has unsealed the dark allegations of what was happening behind closed doors at Gairloch Road, and the inner circle has been given a choice. Is the Gairloch Pact of Silence worth more than the lives of two children? Or is $150,000 the price of a clear conscience and a fresh start? The unsealed 2026 documents tell a story of a house under pressure, financial stress, physical control, and a scent void in the woods that points back to the doorstep. The government has identified the crack in the wall, and they are using this reward to hammer it open. But as the clock ticks toward March 2nd, the real betrayal isn't the act of taking the money. It's the act of staying silent while the truth sits buried under a mountain of deleted texts and unsuitable polygraphs. For Lil and Jack, the truth isn't a payout, it's a basic human right. The $150,000 is just the catalyst to see who has the courage to claim it. This is where the story ends for today, but for the people of Pictou County, the real drama is just beginning. On March 2nd, when Daniel Martel stands before a judge, the world will be watching to see if a whistleblower finally stepped forward. We won't stop digging until every one of those 8,000 video files and 1,066 tips is accounted for. The truth for Lil and Jack is worth more than any reward. Hit that subscribe button and stay with us as we head into the most explosive week in the history of this case. We are the voice for the victims, and we are not going anywhere.